Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the metronome and how to improve your rhythm using it. I know the metronome can seem a little bit confusing and intimidating to use, but I'm going to break it down really simply. And I'm not just going to talk about how you can use it, but I'll actually go through a follow along practice session with you so you can see in real time how you can actually use it. So let me just start off by saying that when we talk about the metronome and playing with the metronome, we do have to talk about the note values and the beats that they represent and all that stuff. But I don't want you to get lost in the kind of mathematics and all that, like how a 16th note is half of an eighth note and all that stuff. The metronome is really just about developing your inner sense of timing and rhythm. So don't get confused by the kind of math behind it all. That's really not what's important here. But with all that being said, we do have to cover some basic things to be able to explain how to practice. So let's get into that. So first, let's talk about how the metronome works exactly. So you would set a tempo and that will adjust the speed of the click. And the click represents one quarter note, right? Because a quarter note is just one beat with nothing in between. So when we're talking about eighth notes, 16th notes and all that, what we're really talking about is how many beats fit in between the quarter notes. So in between the clicks. So a click is a quarter note, and all the other note values, so eighth note, 16th note, and so on, are the notes that fit in between the quarter notes, so in between the clicks. So now let's talk about those note values. So we're going to cover the quarter note, of course, the eighth note, the 16th note, and triplets. So let's start with the eighth note. So the eighth note fits once in between the quarter notes. So it'll fit once in between the clicks. So that means we will be playing 2 beats total. So for example, if we put on a metronome here, the quarter note is the click. 1, 1, 1. 1, right? That's your quarter note. So now when we introduce eighth notes, that's going to fit once in between the quarter notes. So you're going to be playing 2 beats, right? So it's going to look like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See how we're fitting in an extra note between the clicks, between the quarter notes? That's what an eighth note is. And as a side note, let me mention that I don't count beats in the traditional way. I don't count with ands, right? Typically someone would have counted what I just counted as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I don't like doing that. It just feels like it just complicates the process so much more. And I just find it far less complicated to count the actual beats that you're playing. And by using the 1 as your quarter note identifier, kind of your anchor, right? Your 1 being the click. That for me makes it a lot easier to keep track of the rhythm. So we did our eighth note. Next, we have our 16th note. And our 16th note is going to fit 3 times in between the clicks. So in total, that means we'll be playing 4 beats. So we count that like this. We turn on a metronome. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. See how we're fitting 3 notes in between the click? So in total, we're playing 4 beats. So the 16th note is double the speed of an eighth note. But again, don't worry about the math in that. All you need to know is the rhythm behind it. So next we have our triplets. So our triplets are going to fit twice in between the clicks. So in total, we're going to be playing 3 beats. So if we turn on our metronome, that is going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. See how we're fitting 2 beats in between the clicks? And by doing that, we're playing 3 beats, right? So that is your triplet. And in terms of speed, your triplet is in between the eighth note and the 16th note. All right, so now how do we take this information and actually practice it in a practical way to improve our playing? So there's a few ways you can do this, and that's going to depend on kind of your skill level and where you're at. So you can either play along with a single note, you could do that with a single chord, you could do that with a scale, any kind of scale, pentatonic, major, whatever. Or you could even do that with chord progression, right? With an actual song, with an actual melody. So first, let's cover practicing scales with the metronome. So let's get a little closer and do that together. All right, so let's use the pentatonic scale, and I'll include the shapes that I'm using on the screen here. So a few ways you can practice your pentatonic scale with the metronome is you could practice playing one shape, kind of just playing up and down, or you can go through a few shapes. That way you practice playing on time and you also practice your actual shapes and memorizing them. So I'll use 2 pentatonic shapes and I'll include the graphs of what I'm playing on the screen here. And I will set the metronome at 70 beats per minute. And again, you can also just play along with a single note if that's what you're comfortable with. All right, so let's start with the quarter note. So again, that means we're going to play 1 beat per click, right? With nothing in between. All right, so now we'll play our eighth notes. So that means we're going to be playing one beat on the click and one beat in between the clicks. So in total, we'll be playing 2 beats. All right, so now let's play our triplets. So that means we're going to play one beat on the click and 2 beats in between the click. So in total, we'll be playing 3 beats. So that sounds like this, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so now let's play our 16th notes. So we're going to be playing 1 beat on the click and 3 beats in between the click. So that sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now let's cover how to play chords and how to play a song along with the metronome. So I'll just play a little song here, and the strumming pattern is very simple. I'll include the chords that I'm using on the screen here. And again, you could just strum along with one chord if that's what you're comfortable with. And the way you would go about playing a song with the metronome is a little bit different than you would with single notes. This is more about feeling as opposed to playing a certain amount of beats per clicks. But the way we could break this down is by thinking that when we play our strumming pattern, we are beginning and ending our strumming pattern on a click. And I will show you what I mean by that. So for now, we're just going to keep the chord transitions very kind of fragmented. It won't really flow. And then we'll cover how to make it flow a little better alongside the metronome. All right, so I'm doing this at 90 beats per minute. And again, we're going to start and end our strumming pattern on a click. So that's going to look like this. So once we have that down, we could start to introduce filler rhythms in between the chords to make the transitions a little bit more musical and a little bit more flowy. And that's really just going to rely a lot on feeling. A lot of music isn't the tangible things that you can learn, but it's also learning to play intuitively and kind of learn to express through the guitar, right? And that's something that you have to practice. So as long as you have the base down of just thinking about trying to start and end your strumming pattern on a click, you can fit any sort of rhythm in between before the next click comes. So let me show you what I mean by that. All right, guys, so that is it. That's how you can use the metronome to practice your rhythm. So start slow and build from there, and try to find different ways that you can move up and down scales with the metronome to practice those, or different strumming patterns, different tempos, things like that. So I hope that was helpful, and let me know in the comments if there's anything specific you guys want me to cover in these lessons, and I'd love to make a video on it. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.